The US dollar seems to be taking its last breath. This was inevitable, but the aftermath is what is so concerning. See, the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, but what if nobody around the world wants to use dollars anymore? Well, we're about to find out because that is exactly what's happening before our eyes.
Connection established.
Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Folks, we got some stuff to talk about. If you're new, click subscribe because even though this should be mainstream media, it's not. You'll never miss any of this type of stuff if you stick around here. Russia, Iran officially ditch US dollar for trade. Russia and Iran have finalized an agreement to trade in their local currencies instead of US dollars. Iran's state media has reported. Both countries are subject to US sanctions. Banks and economic actors can now use infrastructures including non-SWIFT interbank systems to deal in local currencies, Iran's state media has declared. Russia, India, all of these countries have been buying boatloads of gold and silver. Russians actually bought a record number of gold bars in 2022, and that was followed up by 2023, along with India and China and Iran. And actually, central banks earlier this year bought record-breaking levels of gold, numbers we haven't seen since the year 2000. But also, do you remember when it talked about they are sanctioned now, both countries? Well, countries are repatriating gold in wake of sanctions against Russia, study finds. So this is a deep rabbit hole. And actually later on in this video, we are going to do something pretty interesting, just something for fun. These countries have the most gold in the world. We're going to go through a list that shows the top 25 countries that own the most gold. What do you think the top 3 are? Make sure to comment your answers down below in the comment section. And if you're really good, maybe you can even guess the top 5 or top 10 correctly. So anyways, the global de-dollarization drive has been going on for years, with BRICS countries and the so-called pariah states trying to ditch the American dollar in favor of other currencies. They don't want America's greedy little fingers in their wallets anymore. BRICS go for gold. After months of debate about various currency and commodity baskets, a Russia and China-led consortium has apparently settled on using gold as the basis of a planned new international currency system separate from the US dollar and the euro. As recently reported by state-funded Russia Today, an upcoming meeting of leaders from Brazil, Russia, India, and China in August may include the formal introduction of the new initiative. Now, this is a whole deep rabbit hole. If you've ever watched the show I have with Andy Scheckman, then you are very, very aware of this and very up to date, since on a weekly basis we dive into this stuff. Andy, which is the CEO of Miles Franklin, which also, if you want to buy from Miles Franklin, just send me an email, slayer@milesfranklin.com. We have tons of deals. American Eagles, only $4.99 over spot. Junk silver, only $3 over spot. 10-ounce bars, only $2.45 over spot. Slayer at Miles Franklin, just had to throw that in there. That is today's sponsor. Just kidding. But anyways, on a serious note, back in 2019, Putin declared that time was ripe to review the dollar's role, and that's in trade, right? This timing was critical. Think about the timing. Remember what was happening right before COVID hit? A lot of people forget this. There was 3 things in particular: the Iran tensions, the Saudi Arabian oil fields getting attacked, and then the US-China trade wars. And then that led right into 2020 when COVID hit. So nobody even thinks about those previous 3 situations. Right when all that was happening, Putin declared that the time was ripe to review the dollar's role in trade. So at the time, Russia and China considered switching to the euro, the world's second most dominant currency, as an acceptable stalemate, with the ultimate goal being to use their own currencies. So Russia has declared it will no longer accept American currency as payment for its energy commodities, but will instead switch to Chinese and Emirati currencies. However, global de-dollarization effects have borne little fruit, with the vast majority of cross-border transactions involving BRICS members continuing to be invoiced in dollars. But how long is that going to last? This is chess, not checkers. This is something that's definitely going to be slower paced, or then I guess I could even picture it happening all at once, but it hasn't happened yet. Like they say, 95% of the action happens the last 5%, or whatever, of the movement happens the last 5%. And that is true, especially if there is an official announcement that goes worldwide, not in just these sectioned off media outlets. And like I was reading the other day, American media is closely monitored. Like us Americans, we usually don't read Chinese headlines or things that are happening overseas, and that's also why my job as a YouTube channel sharing geopolitical news is so important. That's why you should be subscribed, not for my sake, but for your own, because I guarantee if I wasn't making videos exposing this stuff, you probably wouldn't know it unless you're subscribed to another very good YouTube channel as well, which if you are, then pat yourself on the back, but most people aren't. And I'm being serious about this. So we're talking about a huge power shift. Indeed, exchanging BRICS members' local currencies with each other and with other emerging market currencies frequently requires using the dollar as a middleman. But they're trying to de-dollarize themselves. They're trying to detach themselves. What is that going to do to the United States? Not just the dollar, but the United States itself, especially when you have the 2024 elections coming up. So further, a large share of public and private debt in these economies is dollar denominated. The relative stability on the dollar compared to many local currencies make it more attractive as a medium of payment and cross-border trade. The dollar's widespread use in these cases has become self-reinforcing, thus preserving its dominant global role and impeding efforts to de-dollarize. But like I said, they're playing chess, not checkers. And the more countries that they're allying with, the easier this is going to be. And seeming like it's very successful right now, even if it hasn't bared much fruit yet, so to speak, like they mentioned. So now let's jump into this cool little fun piece of information that's showing the top 25 countries with the most gold. What do you think the top 5 are? Try to comment down below and guess what you think they are right now. So last year was the strongest year for gold demand since 2011, and this was written in 2023, July 22nd, 2023. So yeah, since 2011, and demand was so high largely because of purchases by central banks. Yeah, and not only was this this something that just sporadically happened, we broke the records tenfold. I mean, every bank, everyone was buying gold and silver. But why? If gold and silver is just this nothing burger that everyone portrays it to be, then why are all the most powerful, wealthiest, most successful investors and the most powerful banks all buying boatloads of it? If it's just so useful, if it's so useless, why? It's like they know something. So anyways, that's something to think about. Annual gold demand jumped 18% to 4,741 metric tons, aided by record fourth quarter demand of 1,337 metric tons, according to the World Gold Council. In all, central banks own over 35 million metric tons of gold, or about a fifth of gold ever mined. That is nuts to think about. While in good times, gold may be snubbed in favor of higher yield investments and assets, but in times of volatility and high inflation, it's considered as an effective hedge. We already know all this stuff, right? I don't need to explain to you guys why gold is valuable. Let's just jump into the meat and potatoes. So here we go. Number 25 is Venezuela. As of December 31st, 2022, they have 161.1 metric tons of gold. That's 0.5% of the world's total. I like how they actually give the percentage of the world's total. Algeria's number 24.5%. Belgium 0.7%. That's a beautiful. Look at that. That is a beautiful city. Wow. Belgian waffles. Shout out to it. Make some good waffles, I guess. Poland only 0.7%. And that is 229 metric tons. Thailand, 0.8%. We got Austria, 0.9%. That is beautiful. Wow. man, living in America, looking at all this makes me sad because, wow, that is breathtaking. Look at that. Wow, that's impressive. I bet the picture of the United States is, and it looks so boring compared to this stuff. So then we got Spain at, only 0.9%. Is Spain? Don't they have, the, what was that? They have the vault, right? The one vault, I don't know. Anyways, that might have been passed. But anyways, Lebanon has 0.9% of the world total. United Kingdom, 1%. Saudi Arabia, 1%. That's interesting. Kazakhstan, 1.1%. Portugal, 1.2%. Uzbekistan, 1.3%. Taiwan, didn't we already? Oh, that was Thailand, 1.3%. Turkey, 1.7%. Netherlands, wow, that's beautiful, 1.9%. India, that is not beautiful, 2.5%. Japan, that is beautiful. Look at that mountain in the background. Jeez. 2.7% at 846 metric tons. And that, I think that's actually what the total gold bought this year alone from all the central banks combined was like 800 metric tons, or 880 something, I think. Don't take my word, but I'm like 90% sure because I made a video on it yesterday or 2 days ago, and I think it was 800. But anyway, Switzerland, 3.3%. China, that's a crazy picture, 6.4%. Now we're getting bigger. Now here's the top 5. Let's see if you were right. 7.3% is Russia. France, says France. That's interesting. 7.7%. Italy's number 3. Wow. I'm Italian. Shout out to other Italians. They could have picked a better picture for Italy. That's kind of messed up. Like, they have all these beautiful, anyways. 7.8%. Germany's number 2, 10.6%. And the United States is number 1. We have 25% of the world total of gold. And guess what? We determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have. So what does that mean? Or what does it mean when these countries try to claim their gold and we don't give it to them, or it takes 2 years like it did? That's another situation. There's a whole other rabbit hole we could dive into. But regardless, I thought this is pretty cool. I like little pieces of information like this, especially if, when it's fun to guess and try to see, try to quiz yourself on your information, and I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. It's late. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And remember, I have some special silver deals for you. Also, remember that I post daily silver videos, so make sure you subscribe. Click the bell so you immediately get notified when I post. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow or later today. Peace.